Ahem. Me. Bob Beats exclusive. This account bound, that account bound, pets account bound, Matt's account bound, gear account bound, gold account bound, me account bound, you account bound, more of the same, real yo game, years ago my game still alive, boo alliance, all the silence, boo to the horde, sorry find no more, I don't like this, kill some honest, this chuckle man soon Shadowlands, classic is here, 2 times a year, DGs a year, transfers a year, maybe 10 or 15 years more, maybe get a Rudasaur, this account bound, that account bound,
okay, that's enough.
Account bound, that's account bound.
Dude, that's enough.
Bah humbug.
Hey, it's Soul, and welcome back to another episode of Warcraft Weekly, the show that you are playing in the background right now. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed yourself, or downvote it because of Bob, and to subscribe for more of this and all things Warcraft. Many of you, but not enough of you, are probably on holiday break with ample time to take advantage of WoW's 15th anniversary events, including super fast leveling in Korak's Revenge, the Alterac Valley remix that WoW Classic fans probably wish they had instead. So get to knocking out them alts while I peddle the news, or if you're not able to at the moment, don't forget to flush. Today's and every weekly is brought to you by our supporters, including our newest patrons, Lynn and Dan. But all of you who are watching are supporting me, maybe even for years, so I am super grateful. I love ya. All of you, except, well, okay, maybe like 90% of you.
Oh, man.
So let's do a giveaway. One more go, a last hurrah for 2019. I'm giving away Dottie, the current charity pet, to 2 people, and one more lucky winner will win a virtual ticket, which includes the virtual ticket goodies like that Yeti onesie and the true forms of Anduin and Sylvanas. All you have to do in a comment below is just say, happy 15th anniversary, World of Warcraft. Yeah, and that's it. Oh, and you should say which reward it is that you prefer, either Dottie or the virtual ticket. I will choose someone at random, which just might mean if you sneak in some good vibes, maybe I'll be more inclined to choose that random person instead, which makes it not random. Uh-oh. This, unfortunately, as usual, is available for people in the US region, so when I announce a winner, I'm going to announce it on my Discord channel, so don't forget to join that channel and keep an eye on the announcement tab. Anyway, let's get to the news, starting with the top news. Patch 8.3 is going to be released January 14th, 2020. So far, it's pretty much on the mark with my predictions. With it comes the journey back to Uldum and the Veil of Eternal Blossoms to fight back the forces of evil and get lots of transmog. Here's a surprise though, just 1 week later, Season 4 of Battle for Azeroth will begin, bringing to us the new PvP and Mythic Plus seasons and the Nyalotha raid. This is a little bit faster than I expected, and so far it's hard to complain.
It's too soon. I'm required to be forced to grind this rehashed content.
Wow, that's like a 4-word score, 96 points.
Nice.
So you had best get to preparing. I have a basic guide set up for you, and in the coming weeks I'm going to have tips on how to navigate through horrific visions, so you too can have a powerful legendary cloak
that you can use to smother and choke your enemies with.
That's not how it's supposed to work, Bob.
I'm going to stab them with my mighty cloak.
That's not how it works either, dude. I can't help but wonder though if for players 8.3 is going to have a lot of longevity for them. I mean, running heroic visions at the hardest difficulty is sure to be a challenge, at least for a while, but the rewards from them aren't nearly as personal as the Mage Tower was. I mean, essentially you get a title and a mount, which is cool, but it's a far cry from a werebear form or a flail. I can't say for sure if I'll be interested all the way up to the Shadowlands launch, but I'm gonna share how I'll treat them. I'm more than likely gonna pound my face at this. I'm gonna try and get it early, finish these heroic versions early with all these masks, all for bragging rights. Just how I completed the Protection Paladin Mage Tower before the Tomb of Sargeras opened. Holla. And unlike the Mage Tower, I'm gonna go back every now and then when I have, ridiculous levels of corruption resistance and all these insane procs and bonuses to stomp visions just for fun. I am still a little bit salty that we couldn't go back and redo the Mage Tower challenges after completing them the first time, but that's just me. How are you going to treat 8.3 after the first few weeks or months? Now let's move on to the thumbnail story. A recent and official statement came from Blizzard that Warcraft 3 Reforged will be released January 28th, 2020. Prompting Blizzard's most fervent critics and forum warriors to break out of captivity like caged animals to proclaim that we were right.
Blizzard broke their promise. They committed a crime.
Not fulfilling their legal obligations, they're going downhill.
Because why again? It has been a while since the Reforged announcement back in BlizzCon 2018. In fact, I would argue that Reforged was one of the brighter moments of that event, but even as we fervently put in our pre-orders, we learned already that the game would come out no later than the end of 2019. Expectations were set, and unfortunately, expectations were not met. Unfortunately, I'm sad to announce that nearly a dozen people were diagnosed with gonorrhea thanks to that delay. Seemed to be like the funniest disease I can think of. Anyway, there are a few points that I want to make, and these are just opinions. I know that I'm wrong, but I'm just trying to look at this reasonably. It's not the end of the world because the street date wasn't met. Ooh. Whatever the reasons are for the delay, I would rather see a delay than to see something released that wasn't ready. Many have argued that Battle for Azeroth was an expansion released too early, but if it came out a month later, would it have been a better expansion? Or would it have been received the exact same way, just with fewer bugs? Historically, MMORPGs can mostly survive an early release because by design they have a cadence of content launches. Just take a look at Vanilla WoW's history for proof of that. But other games that appear to have been released early, not all of them come out so great. Take No Man's Sky, for example. It got trashed on its release for limited content and broken promises, but after years and a lot of patches, it's come to be a lasting game with a lot of fans and maybe some respect that was won back.
Or take Fallout 76, a game that was feature light, and a year late, oh boy, oh no.
In past years, Blizzard made itself notorious for not exactly delaying releases, but simply taking a long ass time. There's a reason they're closely associated with this soon trademark. That's Blizzard. This has absolutely no basis whatsoever, but just a thought. For all we know, it's thanks to President of Blizzard J. Allen Brack for this delay. Maybe it's his call that the Reforged devs were allowed to break their initial date for the sake of having that Blizzard polish that some of us nostalgia heads miss. Maybe it should be coming out later, and Brack is forcing this January release. We'll never know. Oh, but Soul, it's about the principle of not breaking your promise. The date is right there. But there comes a time where you've got to measure breaking the promise that your game is going to come out on time, and the promise that it won't be broken or sucky. But okay, sure, go ahead and use that little screenshot on me. I'm going to use my own. Are you ready? Really? Are you ready for this? Here is the official press release for Warcraft 3 Reforged, dated November 2nd, 2018. Within the article is the estimated release year of 2019. Below that, though, is a wall of text, which is included in pretty much every Blizzard statement going back for years. Ahem.
Cautionary note regarding forward-looking statements. Information in this press release that involves Blizzard Entertainment's expectations, plans, intentions, or strategies regarding the future, including statements about the availability, features, and functionality of Warcraft 3 Reforged, are forward-facing statements that are not facts and involve a number of risks and uncertainties. Factors that could cause Blizzard Entertainment's actual future results to differ materially from those expressed in the forward-looking statements set forth in this release include unanticipated product delays and other factors included in the risk factors sections of Activision Blizzard's most recent annual report on Form 10-K and any subsequent quarterly reports from Form 10-Q. The forward-looking statements in this release are based upon information available to Blizzard Entertainment and Activision Blizzard as of the date of this release, and neither Blizzard Entertainment nor Activision Blizzard assumes any obligation to update any forward-looking statements. Forward-looking statements believed to be true when made may ultimately prove to be incorrect. These statements are not guarantees of the future performance of Blizzard Entertainment or Activision Blizzard and are subject to risks, uncertainties, and other factors, some of which are beyond its control and may cause actual results to differ materially from current expectations.
Bam! I'm no legal expert. I'm just saying what is there. So if you want a refund, go ahead if your region allows it. Or we can froth at the mouth and farm for outrage clicks, disguising it as a crusade to fight against pre-orders. Regardless though, it looks like Blizzard is going back to its roots. Yeah, that's right folks, soon is back. This conversation naturally turns into one about the World of Warcraft though. That's right, the WoW team and the Reforged team is separate from each other.
Sometimes it's easy to forget beyond my unending rage.
Is there a possibility that Shadowlands will launch after its expected release of late 2020. It's not as if we didn't go through a final tier that lasted a year.
Oh no, don't make me relive this.
But it's still possible. We now have a recent precedent to use as a talking point. No doubt MMO Champion isn't going to shut up about this for months, at least not until Blizzard does announce their Shadowlands launch date. And even then, we're probably going to have some doubt. At this point, now that we have a date for 8.3, we can go back to my crazy predictions on what the 2020 launch schedule is going to be. I still believe Shadowlands will launch in 2020, and there's only one way that it's going to happen, and that is if there is no patch 8.3.5. Sounds crazy, right? Yes. We did have a 7.35 in Legion, although that came out in January of 2018. 8.3 comes out in January of 2020, so we're basically a patch behind schedule. And what tangible stuff did we get in 7.35? We got a battleground, we got level scaling across the planet, and we got a bunch of allied races. Meanwhile, in January, patch 8.3, we're already getting allied races. There is a small chance that 8.35 could deliver the level squish, but that doesn't feel like enough to justify a whole patch, does it? 7.35 also delivered story elements that brought us from the end of Legion to what we see in the Battle for Azeroth cinematic. Meanwhile, the story elements that bring us to the Shadowlands cinematic, we already got that from patch 8.25. So apart from whatever might be encrypted in patch 8.3's data, this might be it for the next 7 months at least. If there is in fact an 8.35 patch though, you can almost count on a Shadowlands release in December, or maybe it'll even be pushed back to 2021. So we're going to get like a year of this.
It looks like a guy stuck in a mountain trying to break free. I want to date him.
Now for a little bit of WoW Classic news. According to Blizzard, the game is now ready for paid character transfers, which go for the same price as a regular transfer and have a 3-month cooldown. If you're pissed that you gotta pay for these services, you know, it's hard to protest here. They did give you plenty of time to transfer on your own. But I do wonder to myself if offering paid transfers now is a little bit too soon. According to the religion of #NoChanges, character transfers were added around the release of Naxxramas, but WoW Classic also technically runs off the 1.12 client after character transfers did become a thing. So I guess we can throw out precedent altogether, and at this point, well, I'm just going to ask you folks at home, is this okay? I would like to think it is. Offer a quality of life service, that sounds helpful, right? But the difference between vanilla and classic is that character transfers were offered well into vanilla's life cycle when realms have had a lot of time to settle down and mature. Apparently, Blizzard believes that WoW Classic realms have matured to the point where character transfers could and should be made available. Or because Classic still has a lot of players, so you might as well get that precious, sweet character transfer money while they still can. Who knows? And finally, just to leave a few reminders, hey folks, it's the holidays. Winter's Veil is here, complete with a round of festivities for you to farm and refarm, and there are sales over at the Battle.net shop. And that about wraps things up for what I think is the last regular weekly for the year. Next week is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to round up the best and the worst moments of WoW throughout 2019, and then maybe leave a few parting words as we go off into a new decade, 2020, dude. Seriously, 2020, we should have like Mega Man technology by now.
In some circles, they call me Mega Bob.
Wait, not Bob Man?
That's the stupidest thing you've ever said.
So that's going to be it for me, folks. Thanks once again for sticking around to the end. I love you guys. I hope to see you next time. I hope to see you in 2020. You have a good one, and, well, let's get out of here. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.